a nicety. It's not something nice to have for black folk. It is now an absolute necessity. If you do not get reparations soon, black folk, as I told you before, are through. Reparation is not a nicety, it's a necessity. What are the conditions? What are the conditions that precipitated black folk getting into this dilemma? And what black labor, white wealth did, it tracked 800 years of history in very systematic terms to show you every strategy, every technique, every law, every public custom, and every public policy that was used to enslave black folk around the world and to maldistribute almost 100% of all this nation's wealth, power, resource, privileges, businesses, and controls of all levels of government into the hands of the dominant white society. And what slavery and Jim Crow segregation did with black folk, it intentionally maldistributed all the resources away from black folk and created a real-life monopoly game. Black folk in America are playing in a real-life monopoly game that you're totally ill-prepared to play and win.
Peace, love, and reparations. Welcome to Black Star TV 2.0. It's your boy, Black Star. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, man. Make sure you hit the like button, the share button. I want to thank all the new subscribers and all the old subscribers as well. I appreciate all the support, man. Listen, make sure y'all share this content because we need to get this out here. We need to hop over that algorithm and get this thing popping so this can get out, because this is a very important breakdown that I'm going to do real quick, and I'm going to do it on tribal governments and tribal courts. And I know a lot of people are wondering, like, because I believe that we should, follow the natives' footsteps when it comes to reparations, right? We need to form tribal governments, tribal courts, because I don't believe that a anti-hate crime bill is going to work for us. Should we still try to get one? Absolutely, right? Because I could always be wrong. But I believe the way they do the court system, the judicial system in America, the worst judicial system in the world, right? The way they do it here is I'm white and I say so. So say 100 people commit hate crimes. I believe that only about 15 to 10 of them will get actually charged with it. And then take half of that, and those are going to be the ones that actually get found guilty of it. That's my take on it, right? So I don't feel like anything that they do for us on a judicial level is ever going to work. Ever, ever, ever. I'm straight up, I'm white and I say so. I done dealt with the judicial system way too much and done seen it and all of that to believe that you will actually comply with that anti-hate bill. But let's get into it. So how do the natives form their tribal governments? Who do they go through for this process and for it to be accepted by the federal government? Which is, they actually go through the Department of Interior, right? So let's break this down. Let's see what's going on with the natives and what can we take from them and what can we leave behind. So here it is. What is meant by tribal self-determination and self-governance? Congress has recognized the right of tribes to have greater say over the development and implementation of federal programs and policies that directly impact on them and their tribal members. It did so by enacting two major pieces of legislation that together embody the important concepts of tribal self-determination and self-governance. The Indian Self-Determination and Education Assistance Act of 1975, as amended on the U.S. Constitution, and the Tribal Self-Government Act of 1994. So I personally, family, I read those, but on this breakdown, I'm not going to get into the Tribal Self-Governance Act of 1994, but this is something that we need to get into. These are things that we have to start digging into and see how we can use this for ourselves. Now, what is the jurisdiction of the tribal court? Generally, tribal courts have civil jurisdiction over Indian and non-Indians who either reside or do business on federal Indian reservations. They also have criminal jurisdictions over violations of tribal laws committed on tribal members residing or doing business on their reservation. This is why we need self-governance, right? is because, again, that's what I just said. The judicial system is the worst judicial system in the world, and they will never, ever, ever treat us right. And I believe if we had our own judicial system, right, where we made the laws, we made all of the statutes and stuff like that, I believe that our court system, our jail, or whatever you want to call it, our facility, would be 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times better than the United States. We will rehabilitate. We would probably have the highest rehabilitation rate in the world. You feel what I'm saying? Because the United States is just in this for business. See, we in this to actually help our people. How are tribal governments organized? Most federally recognized tribes are organized under the Indian Reorganization Act, or IRA, of 1934, right, including a number of Alaska Native villages, which adopted formal governing documents under the provisions of the 1936 amendment in the IRA, right? The passage of 1971 of the Alaska Native Claim Settlement Act. See, these are how these people are getting this, right? How do tribal members govern themselves? For thousands of years, American Indians and Alaska Natives governed themselves through tribal laws, cultural traditions, religious customs, and kinship systems, such as clans and societies. We're going to just keep going down. What inherent power what are inherent powers of tribal self-government? Tribes possess all the power of self-government except those relinquished under the treaty with the United States, those that Congress has especially extinguished, and those that federal courts have ruled are subject to existing federal law or inconsistent with overriding national policies. Tribes therefore possess the right to form their own governments, to make and enforce laws, both civil and criminal, to tax, to establish and determine membership, i.e. tribal citizenship, the license and regulate activities within the jurisdiction, to zone, to exclude persons from tribal lands. This is exactly what we need. This is exactly what we need. It separates yourself from the government. You would never, ever catch me off tribal land, right? You would never catch me off tribal land, because that's when y'all going to try to come get me, right? But now let's get into this real quick, because this is how they're doing it, right? They're going through the Department of Interior. Now, what's the purpose of the Department of Interior? This chapter establishes the policies and responsibilities and procedures for operating on a government-to-government basis with federally recognized Indian tribes for the identification, conservation, and protection of American Indian and Alaska Native trust resources to ensure the fulfillment of the federal Indian trust responsibility, right? The policy is the policy of the Department of Interior to recognize and fulfill its legal obligation to identify, protect, and conserve the trust resources of federally recognized Indian tribes and tribal members, and to consult with tribes on government-to-government basis whenever plans or actions affect tribal trust resources, trust assets, or tribal health and safety. Yo, family, when I mean that we need to copy this, but again, take stuff out, because I don't want the federal government being able to, just change stuff on us, right? We don't want that either. We don't want that either. But we do at the least want exactly what they have right now, because this is 1,000,000 times better than what we got and what we got going on and what we going through. You feel me? So hold on, family. It was another one I wanted to show y'all. I think it was this. Is it this? I think I read that to y'all on the last one. But yeah, we definitely need some tribal courts, family, because at the end of the day, right? I think it was this one right here. Okay, yeah, it was this one. This is the one I wanted to show y'all. So this isn't really this is off their website, but I wanted to do this. So The Indian Self-Determination and Education Assistance Act provides an adoption for Indian tribes and tribal organizations to enter a self-determination contract to take over the management of certain programs and portions thereof that were previously administered by the Indian Health Service and Department of Interior. See, I see that we have to work real close with the Department of Interior. The federal policy of termination reversed the federal policy of termination and developed a government-wide commitment to enable Indians to determine their own future. See, the Indians was pressing on them because they got a lot of things changed over the years. Because as you see, this is a timeline and it's going up, so it's going backwards. Actually, if I go down, it would go all the way down to 2024. I'm in 23 that we in now. But you have to understand, right? I'm sorry, because I'm over here trying to read something at the same time I'm trying to talk. Oh, right here. It says, we are not pleading for special treatment at the hands of the American people. God damn it, I can't tell. You're getting it. You're getting special treatment. I'll tell you that much. When we ask that our treaties be respected, the right of self-government and a right which the Indians possessed before the coming of the white man has never been. See, the coming of the white man, we already been here, nigga. You feel me? We already been here. We was here before they was here. You see what I'm saying? And this is why you're going to respect the treaty, because we mentioned in the treaty, the 1866 treaty. Yes, family. So what we need to do is we need to, force this shit to happen. You're not going to tell me that the natives can make this shit happen and we can't make it happen. Let me finish reading. When we asked our treaties to be respected, the right of self-government, a right which the Indians possessed before the coming of the white man, has never been extinguished. Indeed, it has been repeatedly sustained by the courts of the United States. Our leaders made binding agreements, ceding lands, and as requested by the United States, keeping the peace, harboring no enemies of the nation, and the people stood with the leaders in accepting these obligations. A treaty in the minds of our people is an eternal word. If we can get them to recognize the treaties that we mentioned in, also, that's why I said, family, we need to start getting with our intellectuals, some of our the intellectuals, the lawyers, right? We need probably constitutional lawyers, right? We probably need constitutional lawyers who can guide us through this process of the steps that we will have to go through with the Department of Interior to actually make the tribe official under the government, so that we can now get the same incentives that the natives are getting, right? Because asking for a crime bill, I just don't think it's going to work. See, and the reason the white man actually bullshits us on the crime bill, the same way he bullshits us on HR 40, right? Both of them, he knows he's going to bullshit, but at the end of the day, he knows that if he does it, it's going to put the clock is now ticking for you to make shit happen. See, HR 40 is nothing but a study, but it's only going to take so long for the study before you're going to have to cut checks, because they know after the study, nobody's going to come out and say, yep, y'all don't deserve reparations. I don't even care if it's 30 years from now. Well, 30 years from now, when my son is 39 years old and 38 years old, guess what? They will be getting checks, because after 30 years, I'm not saying that it's going to take that long. It's a hypothetical, right? After 30 years of studying HR 40, you're going to determine that we need reparations. This is why they bullshit on all of this shit. Even though we don't want the study, we don't want HR 40. You get what I'm saying? But this is why you're gonna bullshit, because if I sign the law, right, I might have to hold a couple people accountable. But you really don't want to hold nobody accountable, right? So this is why you're playing with us, and you're like, oh yeah, we need to try to get this George Floyd bill passed, and we need to get the lynching bill passed, and we need to get all these bills you need to get passed. You can just pass them. You can just sign an executive order and just pass it. See what I'm saying? But they play so many games with us. Just like my last video, I showed what's her name? Stacey Abrams and President Joe Biden saying that natives should get reparations when we get it. Like, hold on, they already getting shit. And you can check my last video out because I went on the department on their thing, right? I went on their website. I can actually go look. Budget justifications for 2020. This is this year. Budget justifications. Because that's what you're going to do. You're going to go get the bread. I ain't mad at you. You feel what I'm saying? But you're going to go get the money. You're going to go get the money. This is what y'all do, family. They get the money. They not playing with you. They not playing. Look at all this bread. 13 billion. Look, the Department of Interior receives a 466 million investment for the Bureau of Indian Affairs for infrastructure projects and climate resilience incentives, as well as historic investments of 2.5 billion to help the department fulfill settlements of Indian water rights claims and deliver long promised water resources to tribes. Delivered long promised water resources to tribes. Now listen, family, these niggas get money on top of money on top of money. So we know it's a game that they playing, right? We know it's a game that they playing. Why would you bring them up? Why would you bring up natives and you know they already getting stuff? So you're just saying that because you're making an excuse not to give us anything, right? And you people still want to follow it. Y'all still want to follow them. I'm going to show y'all an example. Now, I'm going to do that on my other show because what the hell is this? I'm sorry, family. I'm tripping. Yo. All right, but I just wanted to make that video real quick. My brother, Black Alpha Live, I'm about to go check him out real quick. Family, I'm supposed to have some guests up here tomorrow. We're going to try to do it big for y'all. We're going to bust down this reparations talk. We're going to talk about a couple different other issues, but for the most part, yeah, we're going to try to, I want to delve into a lot of this and see what the brothers feel about it and, you know, their thoughts on it and things like that. So, family, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button. And don't forget, family, we have to press the issue with this reparations. We too close to take our foot off the gas. And shout out to all the people in the New Black Media. I appreciate all your work. The family appreciates all your work. And if you appreciate the people in the New Black Media, please hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share button, and at the least, hit the Cash App. We out of here, fam. Peace, love, and reparations. Y'all have a blessed night, man. We up out of here.